Alright, hello and welcome back. I am Sai, and this is the story of Sir Bronto. Brante, same thing. Last name, first name, doesn't matter. If I remember, we are finally going to gather some evidence against Patriarch Cassius, hopefully. That's the goal. As a quick reminder, we can't die no more. Otherwise, it's game over, or rather a chapter restart. With that in mind, let's go. The Renegade. It is quite late at night. The cold air of the desert burns your skin. You are accompanied by Jean, Captain Agaronim, and his champions of faith. You are on your way to the El Gautier estate. Father Mark will preach there tonight. Your plan is almost complete. There are only minor details left to discuss. My squad and I will be right nearby. We'll rush to your aid if you need us. Be careful, we don't know what to expect of these renegades. Try to arrest Father Mark, but do not take any unnecessary risks. Inquisitor, you are heading into the enemy's lair to act as my weapon. When the time comes, smite the heretics mercilessly with the power of the twins. You promptly don inconspicuous travel attire instead of your usual cassock. There are priests among Father Mark's followers, but it is best not to attract attention. You saddle up and ride towards the estate. The entrance is guarded by armed men. You give them the password and proceed to the courtyard. You see several dozen people in the house. The cavernous main hall is lit by flickering candlelight. You see many commoners and a few noblemen seated around the tables. You spot armed guards by the windows and doors. You take a seat in the corner, far from the large groups of people, and await the beginning of the sermon. A short, stout man steps up onto a little pedestal. He is wearing the brown cassock of a clergyman, but without any symbols of the twins. The audience greets him with cheers. He responds with a charming smile and raises a hand, calling for silence. Greetings to you all. I see some new faces among us. You came to this house because you can find no refuge elsewhere. You came because you have questions no one is willing to answer. I guess questions would be. Why are the laws of this world so cruel? Why is your life, regardless of your estate, full of torment? Why are the ways of this world so unjust? And I answer, ye shall know the tree by the fruits. The twin gods created this world with their will. The twin gods bestowed their law upon us. The twin gods filled the world with their love, but their creation is unendurable. There is no mercy in it, no joy, no kindness. If the world the gods created is so cruel, the only conclusion is that we have very cruel gods. Does this theory check out though? The only way to look at this, like, what if humans create life? I mean, humans do create life, we are all the product of that, right? If someone's parents or creators, in the very closest sense, were cruel, that does not necessarily mean that the product or the child will be cruel. Distant murmur buzzes through the audience. What the twins do to us with their will, their law, and even their love is a violation. They take our lives away, subjugating our existence to their will. Our happiness and joy is of no consequence to them, nor are our desires and hopes. All they require is servitude and unquestioning obedience. After we die, the inevitable awaits us. We will be dissolved in their boundless will, submitted to their absolute law and drowned in their merciless love. Our will shall be no more. In the hereafter there is no I, just they. We will cease to exist. So basically communism. Merciless love, sounds as very, disturbing. So it makes no difference what we face after death, whether the peak of the pillar or the foot. It is all the same: eternity, dissolution, and oblivion. But despair not, brothers and sisters. As long as we have our worthy life, we do exist. As long as we live, we can still discover ourselves and become what we want to be, not what they want us to be. So we must cast aside the twins and live our lives in this world without a second thought for our cruel gods. We are all doomed in the hereafter, hence we are free now. I call upon you to rebel. Without a spiritual rebellion, we will all become slaves to their will for the rest of our lives. We will miss our only chance to live beyond the bounds of their pitiless law, and our lives will be no different from the hereafter that awaits us. The listeners meet Mark's words with hushed awe. But be aware that the path of deliverance is hard. Freedom is a burden, and it can break the spirit of even the most stalwart and wise. Think of Nathan lying on the dungeon floor. Patriarch Cassius was our brother and followed our teachings. He protected those in need of salvation and freed those who could no longer bear the will of the gods. But Cassius embarked upon the path of rebellion in an attempt to become like unto a god himself. I taught Cassius to forsake the divine laws, but what he heard was, make your own law. I taught him to save those who suffer from the will of the twins, but he heard, subject the world to your own will. Patriarch Cassius wants to defy the twins and forcibly liberate people of their oppression. His intention is to spread my teachings, turning them into a new prison for this world. I try to make Cassius see reason, but a man who considers himself equal to the gods is deaf to the words of a mere mortal. I cannot stand against him, and I will not support him. This is the reason I am leaving Anisote and Magra. Tonight, we meet for the last time. Mark steps down. He is instantly surrounded by people. It is time to decide what to do next. Okay, we cannot make a deal because our eloquence is too low, which, if I remember right, would be the Inquisitor's path. That's how we gain those points. Mark will be allowed to leave Magra in exchange for evidence against Cassius. That would be a nice deal. We can do an entrapment because of Nathan. Nathan will help you lure Mark out of the house. You must apprehend Father Mark by any means necessary, capture Mark. Or, I will not arrest Mark. I'm having a sort of an existential crisis. Because I don't think I like the twins. And I think I would agree with Mark's teachings much more, instead of the new faith. But that is not an option, is it? At least not in this chapter. Because it's all about the fates for us. Wait, so one new fate? Two new fate? Three? Probably? Maybe this would have been the special path, and then two Inquisition paths. Okay. Well, I'm sorry, Mark. I cannot let him go. This is our only chance to have some success. So we are going to lure him into a trap. Look for Nathan among the crowd. As promised, he is here, keeping quiet in the shadows and trying to catch sight of you. You sit down next to him. He flinches a little and inadvertently touches his neck. The wounds from his punishment have not healed yet. Oh, it's you, Brante. I'm not used to seeing you dressed like that. Well, how can I help? How can we save all these people who have lost the twins in their hearts? The first thing to do is to get Mark out of the house. Nathan nods, perplexed. Father Mark likes to smoke his pipe outdoors. I try to persuade him to take a walk. I hope you know what you're doing. Meet me at the back door. Nathan leaves the table and goes straight to Mark. You hope he will not let you down. With a glass of wine in your hand, you go outside and pretend to be enjoying your drink and the coolness of the night. The suspense is painful. Each minute lasts forever. Several people pass by you. Eventually, you hear some familiar voices. Your neck looks awful, Nathan. I've told you time and time again, drunkenness isn't freedom. It's just another kind of yoke. The gifts of this world must be enjoyed in moderation. Find the silver slabs in your pocket and close your eyes for a moment, praying for the younger for a miracle. The voices are drawing nearer still. You're right, Father Mark. Don't worry. I learned a lesson I won't soon forget. The sound of their footsteps is very close now. You see Mark appear in the doorframe. You promptly lift your arms, allowing a miracle of the twins to be performed. The burning hot silver disappears. A white flash lights up the night. Jean will surely see the signal. The preacher's body falls to the ground with a sharp cry. You order your brother to get behind you. You hear running footsteps. The champions of faith rush into the yard. A fight erupts. You hear feet stamping and steel ringing all over the mansion. Jean walks up to you and points at Mark. Is that him? You nod. Excellent. For the first time in a long while, a smile appears on Jean's face. Yep, that's what I thought. So the tolerance of fates went down, but only by one. Okay. Got the evidence. You now have irrefutable evidence of Cassius's apostasy, the key to bringing the Patriarch down. I fear the outcome of this might not be something that we expected. Okay, Father Mark is captured. You managed to arrest the blasphemous priest. And hopefully Ulrich won't be there. Sentence. Now I believe this is probably the most important part. Let's go over this. No, not this one. Cassius overthrown. With your aid, the new believers force Patriarch Cassius from his sacred post. Oh, our faith tolerance is too low now. Okay, let's work on that if we can. The sentence. The morning is cold. At the entrance to the Inquisition ward, you see a furious crowd. Among them are both commoners and nobles. The townspeople demand the execution of the captured Father Mark, and their numbers are quickly growing. The champions of faith are guarding the doors from the mob. Jean's angry voice is heard from the stairs. Go away. The Inquisition will not allow mob rule. The investigation is still underway. Excuse me. The investigation is still underway, and only the Inquisition will decide when it ends. The mob is outraged. You squeeze through the crowd. Jean gives you a nod. You enter the ward together. You ask, how is the Mark's interrogation going? Ulrich still won't let anyone into Mark's cell. It has been 4 days. I do not know what he is doing there. Meanwhile, Cassius gives one sermon after another accusing the Inquisition of harboring heretics. Jean suddenly stops. Ulrich goes up from the dungeons. The hemline of his cassock is splattered with blood. The senior inquisitor greets you with a contented grin. The old man has finally told me everything I need. He turned out to be tougher than I expected, but everyone has a breaking point. So Cassius planned to desecrate the sacred conclave. He was going to address the gods with the word heresy. Mark gave me the names of the priests who promised to take his side. Brante, you did much more than catching a dangerous heretic. With this evidence, we will bring down Cassius himself. Father Ulrich, have you seen the crowd that gathers under our windows? Cassius has been accusing us of inaction for days. People came here to demand the execution of Mark. If we have all the evidence we need, isn't it time to burn the heretic at the stake? Cassius cannot tell me what to do. The heretic will die when I let him die. And that would happen before we make sure he had told us the truth. We have to find everyone he has named. Let's start right now. I will visit the temples of the Silver District. Sister Jean, you are going to the slums. Brother Bronto, you should stay to guard Mark. You walk down to the dungeons. A ray of sunshine from a tiny window casts some light over the figure of the prisoner. Mark looks drawn, his body mutilated. There are bloody bandages on his hands. He is restrained so he cannot take his own life. He is but a pale shadow of the once cheerful creature. Only his eyes remain as alert and perceptive as before. He greets you with a gap-toothed grin and speaks to you in a hoarse voice devoid of any rancor. Good morning, Inquisitor Brante. You know, I love winters in Magra. The snow-covered sand looks so peculiar. In the morning the horizon looks like a cake with frosting on it. It's too bad we can't see it from here. You know, your brother is a good boy, but his spirit is weak. I wanted to ask you, Bronto, how did it happen? Where did I go wrong? Why did he betray us? You answer Mark's question truthfully. You tell him that Nathan suffered the lesser death and was freed from the delusion of his false teachings. Mark responds with a sad smile. So, that was it. Believe it or not, I have never suffered a lesser death, and it seems I will not have a chance to. Truth be told, I have always feared meeting the twins, and apparently I was right. We have no way to oppose them there. No one is stronger than the gods. So I can only forgive Nathan. I hope he finds enough strength to forgive himself. Tell him that I hold no grudge against him. You hear the distant clamor of many voices through the window of Mark's cell. Hurried footsteps echo on the stairs. Captain Agaronim enters the hallway. He is deeply distressed. Inquisitor, a huge procession led by Patriarch Cassius is approaching the ward. Apparently, they want to pass judgment on Mark the heretic. I commanded my men to defend the main gate. The smile on Mark's face fades away, replaced by sorrow or exasperation. The bruises make it hard to tell. Another disciple who has betrayed me. But Cassius does not deserve my forgiveness. The floor is shaking, resonating with the footsteps of the crowd. You can hear the Patriarch's voice faintly through the window. Follow me, good people. If the Inquisition cannot rid us of this heretic, we will do it ourselves, for the glory of the twins and their law. The congregation echoes his speech. Not even a squad of champions of fate will be enough to keep the throng at bay. You need to act, and quickly. I think I already see the option. Stand for Jean and Father Leonard. No. They will help you stop the vigilantes and make sure Mark gets a proper tribunal. Send for Ulrich. You can prevent Cassius' assault if you join forces with your teacher. Not gonna happen. Now this. The only way to save Mark from true death is to offer him a lesser one. Oh, that's a really smart idea. Hell yeah. You hand Mark over to the furious crowd. This is a genius idea. And it might even give us some tolerance of fate. I really hope for that. You command Captain Agaronim to join the Champions of Fate. You only need a few minutes, then the champions can let the crowd in. Once we are left alone with Mark, you say in a low voice, people will burst in here in no time. Mark has only one chance to escape. We have the power to condemn Mark to a lesser death. Then, after the rebirth, he will be free. Silence. Mark's lips tremble. He tries to swallow, but his throat is too dry. I am afraid, Brante. What if I change? What if they break my will? There is no time to hesitate. Either Mark will escape through lesser death, or he will be torn apart by the Cassius' flock. Mark raises his eyes to the window. So be it, Inquisitor. It is better than burning at the stake. Is it? You shrug. This is the best you can do for him. You make sure the dungeon's halls are empty, then stand behind the preacher and take a belt in your hands. Mark closes his eyes. He is clearly trying to suppress his fear. Ah, clever, Inquisitor Brante. Strangulation, then? It is fast, isn't it? You announce your sentence. In the name of the younger, the heretic, Mark shall suffer a lesser death for his crimes. You put the belt around his neck and pull it tight. You strain your entire body to hold the improvised garrote in place. A minute passes, then another. Finally, Mark goes limp. A moment later, his body dissolves, leaving only a pile of rags behind. When Cassius and his followers arrive at the Inquisition ward, you tell them that they are too late. The sacred tribunal has already taken place. The Inquisition sentenced Mark to a lesser death for his heresy, and the sentence was carried out. Cassius and his followers examine the cell suspiciously, but they are forced to acknowledge that Mark is not here. Your sentence was too mild. That renegade should have suffered a true death in flames for his false teachings, while your weakness will be made known to everyone in Anizote. I will see to that. Jean and Inquisitor Ulrich arrive at the Inquisition ward by noon. After hearing your story, Ulrich shrugs indifferently. Jean, on the contrary, is furious. What? Mark is an apostate. His teachings are 100 times more dangerous than the new faith. He will continue to preach after his rebirth. You know, how could you let him go? Calm down, Sister Jean. Death can sometimes be more instructive than 1,000 sermons. Mark will meet the twins. No one returns unchanged from such an encounter. I think we've seen the last of him. Freed. Oh, okay. No more tolerance. You have sentenced the blasphemer to lesser death. When he returns from the hereafter, Father Mark will be free. I think we still have like a couple of years. Uh-oh. Worry about that later, I guess. Deathbed. Deafening silence fills your home. You are standing by Mother's bedside. So are Father, Gloria, and Nathan. For an entire day, Mother has been feverish, barely conscious. Gloria never leaves her side, not even for a minute. Nathan has even stopped drinking so he can offer your sister his offered help. Mother's health deteriorated greatly over the past year, and the fighting in the family home has dealt a great blow to her. She has been bedridden for a month. You have been to every doctor and folk healer, but no one can help her. They all tell you the same thing. Lady Lydia's life is in the hands of the twins now. If she passes away, she will not come back. So you wait by Mother's bed in sorrow, hoping that she will regain consciousness. There is a long silence that no one has the courage to break. Then at last, you hear Nathan's meek voice. Mother, it's me, Nathan. Can you hear me? Mother suddenly rises on her elbows. She looks around, her eyes unseeing, beads of sweat forming on her pale forehead. My son, where are you? Nathan takes Mother by her thin, emaciated hand. She leans closer to look at him, struggling to recognize his face. Stefan, were you playing with your younger brothers in the garden? You must be all dirty. Come here. You may not be my son, but I care for you as though you were my own. Oh, what a nice, happy family we have. a blessing from the twins. Nathan is unsure what to do or say. Father strokes his wife's hair. His eyes are two orbs of searing, indescribable pain. You are a little confused, Lydia. This is Nathan, and the children are all grown up now, remember? Mother's eyes were bright and alive just now, but the next moment they grow dim again. Her head falls weakly back onto the pillow. You're right, my husband. The children grew up, but I was never able to teach them how to live in peace with each other. I let you down, Robert. You made a mistake when you took me into your home. You saved my daughter and me from a life of poverty, and how did I repay you? Gloria cannot take it anymore. What are you saying, Mother? Don't you dare blame yourself. You did your best. You did all you could. Father looks away, unable to hold back the deluge of tears. Mother's voice, so faint now, calls out to you. And Bronto, where is he? With great care, you move closer to Mother. You answer her quietly. You're here, right by her side. Bronto, I'm so happy to know you're here. I always knew greatness awaited you ever since you were a little boy. What a shame I won't be there to see it. I couldn't save the Brante family. I will face my punishment at my final judgment. But don't worry, my dears. I am ready to stand before the twins. Lydia Brante's voice trails off. No longer a voice, just a final whisper of life. Will you accept your mother's death, or will you find a way to fight for her life? Well, since this is the only option, accept this loss. Mother is not long for this world, and there is nothing you can do about it. Share your strength with Mother. Seriously? It is all based on unity. And what about this? Oh no. So, because the betrothed Gloria and the plot with Stefan, I knew I should have. Come on, man. I knew I shouldn't have done that. Your heart aches and grows numb as you realize the inevitable. There is nothing you can do to help your dying mother. There is nothing that would give her strength. Your family has grown weak from all the spite and strife that has filled your home. Even now, at Mother's deathbed, you can feel the enmity, disappointment, and anger driving your family apart. Children, accept this humbly. Her voice trails off, her eyes grow dull, her gold hands release yours, fall onto the bed and grow still. The last emotion on Mother's face is a sadness born of exhaustion. A scream of despair rips itself out of Gloria's throat. We did this to her. We fought so much that we killed her. Me, Stefan, Bronto. Nathan yelps with grief. He runs away, howling. Stefan remains still, a living statue chained to the head of the bed. Father slowly sits and takes his late wife's hands in his. His tears flow no more. His eyes stare far into the distance, empty and bleak. Lydia. You mourn her together, but alone. You leave the house to roam the garden, empty and numb. Mother has left this world for the peak of the pillar to face the twins' judgment. She spent all her life preparing for this journey. But now her mortal life has ended. She is no longer here. Never again will she gather her family at the table. Never again will she offer a word of solace in trying times. Never again will she greet you with her quiet, humble smile. You bury your face in your hands. Lydia Brante, your mother, has left this world. That also took all our remaining willpower. Well, no wonder, but her mother lost her fight to the severe illness. She will never return from the hereafter. The Gilded Cage. This is because of Gloria. Stefan's efforts are about to bear fruit. All the arrangements have been taken care of. All the negotiations are done. Gloria shall marry Sir Jose Alpelatia. It was no easy task to arrange this match between a nobleman and a commoner whose father has rejected her. Every single member of Alpelatia's family did their best to change the young nobleman's mind, but he refused to relent. Stefan did his best too. He spent an eternity convincing the groom's family that Gloria has received an excellent education and will make Sir Jose a fine wife. And so the wedding day has come. The family prepares Gloria for the long journey. The wedding ceremony will be held at the church next to the Alpelatia estate. As tradition demands, no one else is allowed to attend the wedding. Gloria is completely silent today. She meekly allows the servants to change her into the coarse, humble garments her lot demands she wear before the twins, all without saying a word. Gloria, say something, I beg of you. This marriage is the best thing the Brante family can do for you. You're about to join a noble bloodline. Gloria stares back at Sir Robert, her mother's husband, who ever became her father. There's bitter sorrow in her gaze. I think it's more likely I'll be added to their family's opulent collection as another exhibit, but still, from the bottom of my heart, I thank you, Sir Robert. You've destroyed the last of my illusions. My fate rests in the hand of my noble masters, and it always will. Father responds with a heavy sigh. At a loss for words, you prefer not to intervene. Gloria would rather not speak to you anyway. Just outside the door, you hear the neighing of horses and Stefan's excited voice. Gloria, your groom has arrived. The man who enters Gloria's chambers behind Stefan is Gloria's betrothed, Jose Alpelatier himself. His dignified bearing and the thin features of his wistful face betray his noble origins. An elegant earring glints in his ear, a concession to modern high fashion. Alpelatier greets the bride's family with a gallant bow and gently kisses the hem of Gloria's dress. The young noble of the sword takes great pains to remain composed, but standing so close to his future wife, he cannot help but let his emotions show. Good sirs, I fell in love with Gloria the moment I laid eyes on her at that fateful party so long ago. If I may, I give you my word that you are giving her to a respected and prosperous home. And from what Sir Stefan has told me, your family's standing will only benefit if Gloria becomes a member of another family. After all, I am a born nobleman with a hereditary title. No scandalous rumors or gossip regarding my wife's origins can ever harm me, and any man who dares to speak a word of slander against Gloria shall face a duel to the true death. Well said indeed. A most wonderful outcome for everyone involved. Gloria will want for nothing. I will keep her safe from all the world's troubles, free to write poetry, indulge in entertainment, and serve her husband. The unarmored noble gazes at Gloria with a tender expression. She hides her eyes behind her unkempt hair. There is a hopeless look about her. Gloria, my love, it is time. Our journey calls. The temple is ready for the ceremony. Very soon we shall announce the sacred intertwining of our destinies to the twins themselves. And then your new home and new life await. I will do as you say, Sir Alpelatier, but please allow me to say my goodbyes to the gentlemen who have given me food and shelter. To Father she gives a deep bow full of reverence. The family patriarch remains silent, but tears run down his face. Then your sister embraces Nathan, who came home gloomy and worse for wear even today. I'm sorry, I drank all night. I couldn't stop. I just can't accept that you won't be at home anymore. She ruffles her younger brother's hair and whispers something in his ear. His face brightens, if only a little. And then she bows to Stefan, a bow so impeccable it can only be interpreted as mockery. She walks past you scornfully, refusing to recognize your presence with even the slightest gesture. Farewell, Bronto. I must admit you did a fine job getting me out of the way. I hope it was worth it. You remain silent. Al Pelletier takes Gloria to his carriage. The driver flicks his whip, and the horses take the bride and groom outside the city and to the church, to face the twins and the austere ritual that awaits them. Once wed, they will head straight for the groom's estate. Gloria has left the Brante home for good. With an expression of great relief, Stefan closes the door. He sits in an armchair by the window, his hand cradling a glass of wine. At last, you've done a great deed, my brother. We arranged for the best possible life for Gloria and removed the last obstacle standing between us and the nobility of the sword. Now, there is nothing preventing me from putting our family's affairs in order. This is my duty as heir. And most importantly, we need to put all ties to Gloria behind us. She's gone from the Brante home for good. Thank the twins and their mercy. What you say, Bronto? You won't stand in my way, will you? Surely you won't deny that our family's affairs are my responsibility? Wow. You deny your elder brother's right to rule the family. Your dispute must be settled with the sword. Challenge Stefan to a duel, but we are not on the path of the nobleman. Or we could maintain family ties with Gloria. You insist the Brante family must preserve their ties to Gloria. If we had eloquence, higher than 12 or equal, or a better relationship with Stefan. That's messed up. That was the worst choice I ever made in this game, I think. You accept your brother's right to decide what is best for the family, which means that the family must cut all ties with Gloria. I have no other choice, just like with Mother's deathbed. You agree? Stefan represents the future of the Brante family, and if he says the family ought to cut all ties with Gloria, then so be it. She never belonged in the family anyway. You took care of her as well as you could. Now her fate is no longer linked to yours. I knew you'd understand me, Bronto. Take your glass. A toast to the future of the Brante family. You clink glasses. You note a hint of bitterness in the flavor of the old wine. Anyway, it's time to get down to business. I head to the overseer's residence at once. We are so close to earning a hereditary title, brother. Grandfather would be so proud of us. With that, Stefan leaves you alone. Father has locked himself in his office to brood. Nathan has wandered off somewhere to get drunk. You roam the family home that feels emptier now, lost in memories. You remember Gloria leading you by the hand through the yard and showing you the shining pillar for the very first time. You remember playing together. You remember the time you and Stefan went looking for her in Anisotta ruins. You remember the quill and paper that were your sister's constant companions. After the wedding, you hear very little of Gloria's fate. It seems she barely, if ever, leaves the confines of the Al Pelletier estate. By the will of your family and its heir Stefan Brante, you no longer have any part in your former sister's fate. This is so fucked up. All that for that tarnished honor. Less unity. Gloria had become the wife of the noble Sir Al Pelletier and left for his estate. I feel bad. Thomas's wedding. This event is a consequence of your previous actions. Alright. So, before we continue, I would like to say I'm almost inclined to restart this whole chapter just because of how it went off the rails. Like, this was really not something I wanted to. Now you could say that, oh, why are you playing with hidden consequences then, right? I think it's more interesting because you may or may not know what each choice does, even though most of the times they are fairly obvious. Anyway, continuing. This is a day you remember well. It began with a loud, impatient knock at the door. You are surprised to see Thomas paying a visit to your home. There is joy on his face as your old friend shakes your hand. Brante, it's been a while since I saw you last. I just got back to the city. I visited my folks, then ran straight here. Autumn finally stopped hounding me. I sure hope that whole mess is over for good. You invite your friend in, but he gestures for you to wait. Sly smile on his face. I'm in a hurry right now, buddy. So much to do, so little time. I explain. I just got back from Sulmina. There was this girl in the village, a shopkeeper named Mire. She gave me shelter and I ended up falling head over heels in love with her. You congratulate your friend and pat him on the shoulder with joy. He laughs happily. My poor Ma and Pa, all their life they'd hoped I marry a noblewoman. I used to hope for that too when I was young, but now I know some things matter more than noble titles. Mire's about to be my wife. You offer Thomas words of congratulation, but he suddenly grows serious. Otton's left me alone, but Mire and I will still be better off far away from Anisoto. I wasn't happy serving in the Legion anyway. I thought the nobleman's lot would set me free from suffering and do the same for my descendants, but it just ain't that simple. I was less free than ever. I'll be better off as a commoner again, earning my living by the sweat of my brow. The farmstead might not be an estate, but the high and mighty won't ever set their sights on me again. I live my life in peace, just like I wanted. I've just got one last request for you, though, Bronto. You've done so much for me, but I'd be honored if you'd be a witness to my wedding vows before the twins. So bear witness to their wedding vows. You and Thomas have come a long way together, and now you will see him off to a new life. Oh, nice. As a priest, you shall conduct Thomas' wedding ceremony yourself. Sure. And the third option was to bid farewell. No thanks. Your hand comes to rest on Thomas's shoulder. You are a priest yourself, perfectly capable of conducting the wedding ceremony. It would be an honor. Will Thomas agree? Thomas glows with joy. I was afraid to ask, Bronto. Now my best friend's gonna marry me to the love of my life. How about that? I gotta go. Get ready. Several days later, you follow your childhood friend to a smallish temple nestled on the edge of the Brass district. He is wearing a plain white shirt. Needless luxuries are forbidden at the austere wedding ritual. You are both welcomed by the bride, a blonde-haired young woman, innocence and hospitality written across her trusting face. The bride's parents stand further away, two aging villagers eyeing the streets of the big city with suspicion. Mire, meet Father Bronto Brante, my best friend ever since we were lads. He's gonna marry us before the twins. The bride greets you with a humble bow. The three of you step inside the temple. You close the doors behind you. Tradition demands no one else be allowed to attend the sacred wedding ritual. Thomas and Mira kneel before the altar. This is the first time you have performed the wedding ceremony, but you know the ritual well. You must summon the twins to oversee the sacred union of this couple, and so you call forth. O twins, elder and younger, behold these two as they kneel before you. They beseech you to join them in eternal wedlock. The candle flames dance and quiver. You hear a strange murmur in the temple. The darkness beneath the vault of the temple ceiling swirls into two colossal shades. The bride and groom raise their eyes to them, awestruck. Now you ask the bride and groom in turn to swear their loyalty to this divine union. I do. The bride echoes Thomas. You stand over the kneeling bride and groom and speak their names as the twins watch over you. Thomas Guerrero and Mira of Sulmina. One of the colossal shades leans over them, looming like a towering sword, while the other bursts in a beacon of blinding light that illuminates the temple from within. Thomas and Mira look into each other's eyes in amazement. From this moment forth, they are bound to one another by divine law, and divine love fills their hearts. And with that, the ritual is complete. Thomas Guerrero and Mira of Sulmina are now man and wife in the eyes of the twins. The solemn ceremony has ended. It is time to celebrate. A humble but happy feast is to be held in the bride's village. As day gives way to night, you and Thomas leave the revel to enjoy a moment of quiet repose on the front porch. The familiar wastes of Magra stretch out before you in the darkness. Your old friend looks off into the distance, hopeful. Yeah, remember how we fought in that yard over our little brothers? So much happened since then. Both of you laugh as you recall the beginning of your friendship. I treasure those memories forever. I will. And you can be sure that my firstborn son's name will be Brante. Thomas chuckles, pondering. You and I, we grew up on the same street, but look how different we turned out. You ever say in other people's fates, Brante, your name will surely be remembered, but me, I'm still a humble nobody. And you know what? I'm okay with that. I used to be so sure a man could never start over with a clean slate, but I guess I was wrong. I never forget you, Bronto Brante. And I never forget everything you've done for me. A tear runs down your friend's cheek. For the last time, Thomas embraces you. Tomorrow he will leave Anisote forever. Will you ever meet again? Nobody knows. Clear speech. Now that's something I could use. Oh, look, we are almost a prophet. You see Thomas off to his new life far from all the danger and chaos. Seems like everybody is leaving us towards the end of this chapter. Repentance. The last few months have been marked by a welcome absence of quarreling at the Brante estate. Your only concern these days is the price you have had to pay for this peace. Today you come home late. Wrung dry after a day of work and worry, everyone is sound asleep. You are making your way to your bedroom when you hear a suspicious noise coming from Father's study. It is too late for Father to be working. You go to the door of the study, trying to tread softly and turn the knob. The room is brightly lit by the moon. You recognize your brother's clumsy silhouette above Father's desk in the moonlight. Nathan hears you come in and leaps to the side in fear. You see something glinting in his hands. Father's dagger. Oh, Bronto, it's you. Shush. I just took the dagger for a moment. Don't worry, I know holding a weapon against my lot. I don't mean anyone any harm. It's for me, actually. I have to go to the twins. Your younger brother clumsily turns the dagger around, holding it against his own body. You try to remain still. Nathan wants to take one of his own lives, but why? I'm not even sure how to say it, brother. I just can't find a place in this world. I'm always an outsider, always a waste of space. Isn't there some place for me in the twins' design? I can't stop thinking about it. I've been trying to understand them for so long. How am I supposed to live in their world? What's my place in their great plan? But I've only made things worse. I meddled with the Marquian sect, defied and rejected my lot, indulged in vice, but I found nothing there. The old faith, the new faith, Father Mark's heresy, they gave me all sorts of answers, but none of them worked. There's nothing else left for me now. I've got to go see the twins myself and ask them. I know I'm an off-front to their plan just because I'm alive, but I repent. I'll pray for their forgiveness. But the twins never forgive, tell Nathan softly. They never have and they never will. You will be judged in the hereafter for every false step you take. Your younger brother sighs heavily. I know. Mother taught us that all our lives, but I still have to try. There's no other way. One of my lives isn't too big a price if it works. I can't find any use for them anyway. See you soon, brother. Hope I'll be different when I come back. A cloud passes over the moon. Father's study grows dark, illuminated only by the shining light of the distant pillar. Nathan's body contorts awkwardly. He raises the dagger, aiming it at his own heart. It is reckless. I do agree with that. I'm going to protect him. It just seems stupid. And pointless. You slowly approach your younger brother. You shaking hands violently squeeze the hilt of the dagger, but your soulful voice has a soothing effect on him. Nathan has no reason to hurry, you assure him. He will meet the twins when his time comes. Trying to draw the twins' attention is an act of grave insolence, you tell him. The twins are always watching. They know everything they need to know. If they have anything Nathan needs to hear, he will hear it when the time is right. Nathan hesitates, but you know your brother well enough to sway him. He lowers the dagger without protest. You take the sharp steel from your brother's hands and put it back where it belongs. Father will never know of this midnight intrusion into his study. You're right, Brante. You're always right. Who am I compared to the twins? I can't even get anything out of a regular person. But how? How am I supposed to live in this silence? You try to advise your brother on this, but his response to your words with he responds to your words with broody mutterings. So I'm beneath even the lowly lot, it seems. I should just accept it and suffer, but I can't. Despite everything Mother taught me, there are no answers out there for me. After that night, Nathan throws all caution to the wind. He spends every day and night in dank taverns surrounded by suspicious characters. His pitiful existence is devoid of all meaning. Your only consolation is that one of your younger brother's lives has been spared. I wonder if Nathan will always turn out to be this guy. Oh, there we go. We are a master manipulator and also a prophet. Seems like a dangerous combination. The denunciation. Should we leave this for the next time? I think it is best if we do so, because this might be long. Which is not a problem, but I'm trying to even out the episodes that we have left from now. So yeah, I think we are arriving around an hour of recording time anyway, so this should be fine. Well, hopefully we can still manage to... where is it? To have a normal destiny, which is this, if we can get a bit more tolerance for the fates. Yeah, so with that said, we will continue from here in the next episode. So see you guys, bye.